All right. Reflection without change is quite worthless. There's my theme of the week. We're hitting week number 4. Welcome to Debt Free Firefighter. My name is Chris. I'm on a journey to do better, to be better. I'm going for grit over glamour in this journey, knowing that it's a long haul. Reflection without change is worthless. That's the theme. That's where I am. So, I want to look at what I did last year. That was bad, and how I'm going to change it. And as I look, I kept finding myself repeating the same mistakes again and again and again. And I go, man, I did it again. I'll stop. And I never stopped. Part of the reason I never stopped is I set myself up with bad habits, and I never broke those habits. So this month especially has been focused on breaking bad habits. Just get rid of the bad habits, set new habits, be a little bit more intentional. Okay, here are some mistakes I made in 2025. And I'll be honest, some of these were probably mistakes I made in 2024, 2023, and beyond that. Number 1, I got off track with tracking, okay? I did not track expenses well. I didn't keep receipts. I didn't write things down. I wasn't accurate. So as I tried to budget each month, I would come up with roundish numbers, and those roundish numbers could be off by $6 or $7. That's great. Not a big deal, right? Well, it's not a big deal unless you take $6 or $7 and you multiply that by 20 categories. And now I'm at $120. My budget's off by $120. So one of the big things I'm working through and trying to correct in January is tracking everything and having a good system in place to track everything. So I don't know what you use. The great thing is I can take 30 seconds every day and look on my phone, and it tells me the expenses I had for the previous day. I am doing something super simple. It works for me. I'm not saying you have to do it. I have this sticky pad, little post-it note I throw in my daily planner, and I just jot down the expenses as they happen. So I'm trying not to get myself stuck in this grind of, hey, I spent this much, but I don't know where it went. So I did not track my money well. That was a big mistake. Another mistake I made is I did not have a proper emergency fund, or any emergency fund. So my house is a house built in 1996. I've lived here for 5 years, and we're hitting maintenance needs right now, and things are breaking. And I did not adequately, when I moved into this house, plan and prepare and set aside for things that would break. I know Dave Ramsey says to do it. I know everybody says to do it, and I didn't do it. I didn't have an emergency fund. I didn't have a plan. So this year there's two big things I'm doing. Number 1, I am starting an emergency fund. And number 2, I am coming up with a maintenance list, not just of what needs to be done, but when it will be done. So some of that is simple, right? My well system, the water softener system will need maintenance. The septic system will need pumped out. I'd like to repaint my deck. Some of it is long term. My air conditioning unit is 6 years old. Okay, a couple years from now, it will need to be replaced. So that was a big mistake, is I didn't track things well. I did not have an emergency fund. I didn't have a good plan for when things broke. And number 3, I relied too heavily on the moment. So I relied too heavily on the moment, and that led to credit card debt. And when I say I relied too heavily on the moment, sorry about that, I would have an emergency arise, and instead of pushing it off for a week and trying to pick up an extra shift in the firehouse, I would throw it on the credit card and then tell myself, hey, you can pick up an extra shift to pay for it. There are some things that aren't true emergencies, but we treat them like true emergencies. So think through your budget, think through your life, think through your spending, and look at 2025 and ask yourself, what was not a true emergency, but you treated it like it was? I had a couple of those come up. For instance, some car repairs. They weren't true emergencies, but out of convenience, I wanted to get them taken care of. So, car tires. My car needed new tires. It passed inspection. The mechanic said to me, hey, this time next year, you will need new tires. Well, my brain said, oh, you drive a lot. Let's go get new tires now. So I did the dumb, and I went and bought new tires and put them on a credit card instead of saying, great, over the next 2 months, let's save up money and let's go get new tires. So don't treat everything like an emergency if it's not an emergency. If it is an emergency, you need to handle it. But I treated things that weren't emergencies like emergencies, and I would throw them on a credit card. Big mistake. I didn't track. I didn't have the proper emergency fund. I used my credit card way too much. And then I would, we'll say, how do I want to, I let little things add up. Little things became big. Meaning this. Guys are really good at this. I don't know about ladies. I don't think my wife's good at this. I think my wife's bad at this, which is great. On the way to the firehouse, will stop at the gas station and I'll get gas. And then I'll swing into the gas station because I want coffee. $2 for a cup of coffee, right? Maybe $3. So I got gas. I need gas. Cool. I don't necessarily need coffee. I have a coffee maker at home. I can make coffee. We'll talk about good habits later. I swing through the gas station. There's $3 for coffee. I mean, what goes well with coffee in the morning is donuts. I'd buy a packet of donuts, or I'd buy a cereal bar. Great, there's $5. All right, well now I need a Monster to throw in my lunchbox for the firehouse. Probably 2 for $5 is the way to go. So I'm at $10, okay? Awesome, $10. Well, if I do this every single shift, we're talking $1,200 in a year. That's on the way to the firehouse. 24 hours later, I get off work. I'm hungry. I'm not eating breakfast on the way home. I'm not eating breakfast off going shift in the firehouse. So what do? Man, use that little Dunkin' Donuts app, place a Dunkin' Donuts order, $7.87, right? You get a bagel, you get hash browns, you get a coffee. Awesome. Do that every day. Now what? $1,200. We're talking $2,500. Wow, $2,500. Just the little things. They become big. I mean, you know what I could have done with the coffee money? I could have bought tires for my car with the coffee money. So those are kind of the mistakes I made in 2020. Not kind of. Those are the mistakes I made in 2025 that I'm working on trying not to have come up again. Also, how do I put this one? Okay, I'm not going to say I'm bad with cash. One of the big mistakes, though, in 2025 was I was bad with cash. Here's the scenario. You guys may have this scenario in your firehouse. You ladies may have it where you work. I know a lot of people I interact with are nurses in hospital systems, and they kind of get into this bad rut too. You need cash for something. Maybe you're paying for dinner at the firehouse. Maybe you need it because you want it for vending machines, or you need it for parking, or you need it for who knows. You go to the store, you go to the ATM, you grab 20 bucks. You only need 10, all right? So you grab a 20 because the ATM only gives out 20. You pay 10 bucks for firehouse dinner, and you've got the other 10. Awesome. Your plan is 2 days from now, when you go back to the firehouse, you use that 10 to pay for the next meal. What typically happens though is you end up using that 10 to buy something at the grocery store, or a Monster energy drink, or you're hitting the vending machine at the hospital, or you're giving it to your wife and kids and you're not tracking it. So I need to work on becoming much better with cash. Those are some of the big mistakes I made in 2025. I didn't keep track of things well. I didn't establish an e-fund well. I relied too heavily on that credit card, thinking I would pay it off, and then things came up and I never paid it off. I let the little things become big things, and I became really bad with cash. A video coming out in February will detail some tips and tricks and some things I have changed that will help me with this. So stay tuned, like and subscribe. If you guys have challenge coins or fire department patches you'd like to send to be shown on here, I'd love to do that for you. Shoot me a message. I'm working on establishing an email and getting some more stuff rolling, but I'm just excited to do this because it's helping me. You guys have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day.